Oh, hey man, you're new here. Yeah, I'm the new helmet. New helmet? Why does he need a new helmet? Well, you were in a crash, man. Like, you're no good anymore. Not good anymore? What do you mean? Like, I feel fine. I don't remember anything happening. Well, yeah, that's kind of the point, man. Like, you hit the ground so hard, like, you don't even remember it. That's why you gotta be replaced. I swear, man, like, that's never been a rule. Like, I swear, that's never been a rule. Always has been. Welcome back. Would you survive a motorcycle crash? Would you walk away with minimal injuries? Are you sure your gear will protect you? We're going to talk about that a little bit today. Thanks for being here. Like, comment, subscribe. Let's get to it. Part of the reason we're talking about motorcycle gear, surviving a crash today, is because if you don't know, I was just involved in a motorcycle crash at the beginning of July. I hit a deer going about 60 miles an hour, broke my collarbone, and that was about all the injuries that I sustained. I had a couple spots of road rash on my back and on my elbow, but they were pretty minor. So, what I wanted to talk to you today about is gear that may save your life, like this helmet here. So just a quick recap, if you wanted to watch the video where I talk about this in detail, my accident, click on the stuffs. But essentially what happened was a deer came out, was hiding in the tall grass on the left side of the road, and ran into my front tire. I had basically no time to react. It was kind of a situation I wasn't expecting, but some of this gear literally on this table saved my life. So what happened was the deer took my front tire out. I came down on my left shoulder, broke my collarbone, kind of messed up the left side of my body a little bit, just bruising and whatnot. And then I ended up sliding on my back for what I estimate between 100 and 150 feet. The bike ended up in front of me. I ended up on the road. I stood right up from the crash. The rest is history. Click the links if you want to hear about that more. But this was the helmet I was wearing, Simpson Speed Bandit, if you want to know. And this is not the jacket I was wearing. The jacket I was wearing was destroyed and I don't have it anymore, unfortunately. But it's a built Techno jacket. Pretty inexpensive jacket, but it saved my skin. So really, the first topic of conversation is, how do you know your gear is safe or not? There's all kinds of different gear that's made out of leather, that's made out of mesh and textile, more mesh and textile. This is made for winter time / when it's cold out, block the wind. You got boots, you got gloves, you got jackets, pants, helmets, and all these different things. But how do you know what is safe? So probably the most reliable way to tell if something is safe in the year of 2023 is a CE certification and rating. The CE rating is something that has origins in Europe mainly, that regulates and standardizes how PPE and other items are manufactured and meet up to certain standards to keep you safe. PPE means personal protective equipment, like if you go to work and have to wear safety glasses. Well, motorcycle gear in some cases was PPE for people at work. Let's say you were a motorcycle courier or somebody who had just had to ride a motorcycle for work, which is I think a little more common in Europe than in America. But what that meant was your gear had to guarantee a certain level of safety. So eventually, without going too much into the weeds, That trickled its way down into the leisure area as well. Well, they had to kind of come up with different standards over the years, because we know that leisure wear has different requirements than wear that you might have to wear at work. What these regulations and standards actually are doing is essentially saying that when you put this jacket together or any other piece of motorcycle gear, certain criteria have to be met and certain forces and strength metrics have to be met. One of the things that they test for is abrasion resistance. So abrasion resistance being, can it go for a slide? Leather is probably going to have the most abrasion resistant if it's real leather. We'll get into that. And then textiles, mesh, you know, kind of goes down the line. Another metric that they're checking for is tear strength. Tear strength means they test a pre-cut piece of fabric. So they'll take this fabric, they'll actually put a little cut in it, and then they'll pull it apart. And that's to see if it meets a certain strength of the material itself if it were to get cut during an accident. Another one is seam strength. So what they do is the main seams on the jacket. That does not mean every seam on the jacket, but like where a sleeve attaches or a pant leg attaches, things like that. They test those for a certain amount of strength as well. Dimensional stability is another thing they do. They put it through the wash for a certain number of times and to see if it changes size or if where the armor that's in the jacket changes where it's at. Another thing they're checking for is innocuous. That's whether it's been made with chemicals, materials, or things that are harmful or irritating to humans. When all those tests come together, ultimately the garment is categorized into certain levels of safety. They mainly are categorized in a letter system for jackets, pants, things that you wear on your body. You'll see A's, B's, C's. There'll be also AAA and AA. So like on this Climb jacket, oh, we gotta open it up all the way. Sorry. What you'll see, it's hard maybe to show you guys, but there is on the tag CE, you see it there, and also at the bottom it talks about the rating. This is a AA rated jacket, and it is for motorcycling. That was a little motorcycling man in there. So that's where you can find it on, like some jackets is down in the bottom tag, a tag somewhere on the jacket. And that AA rating means that it has both impact and abrasion resistance. Some things will have both. If it's an A rating, it has both. If it has a B rating, it only has abrasion resistance, no impact resistance. Impact resistance mainly meaning the removable or armor that is inside of different garments. This is D3O, it's a special material. Sometimes they're just kind of made out of like a foamy material, but this is what we're referring to when we say impact protection. This is armor. That's how we make it sound cool. But some things don't have that, so they might be a B rated, which just means it's good for a slide. There are also a C rating, which means it only has impact resistance. It will have just armor, but the material itself is not going to protect you from abrasion or sliding on the pavement. Boots and gloves are categorized differently. Categories like 1s and 2s. These Dionysi gloves have it right there. I took the tags off these, otherwise it'd be on there too, just because they're an annoying spot. But these ones have it right on, printed on the garment itself, CE category 2 rated. Boot, another tag that's inside. This one shows the CE mark, and then it lists off what regulation it meets. The regulations that control jackets and pants and helmets and gloves and boots are all different. So all this right here is all CE rated gear. This jacket, built Techno jacket, actually the same one that I had my accident in, just in white. My other one was black. is not CE rated. Like the tags in here. Once again, sorry, kind of hard to show easily like that. There's no CE rating there. There's no CE rating there. Now this is a couple years old. I don't know if the newer version has it, because to be sold in Europe, you're now required to be putting CE rating on things. So I went down in this jacket that did not have any CE rating, the one I had. So does a CE rating mean it is safe? No. If it doesn't have a CE rating, does it mean it's not safe? No. Another big component of keeping you safe in a motorcycle crash, obviously, is a helmet. I think it stands to say that if you don't wear a helmet, that's on you. At that point, you're taking it all in your own hands. If you don't want to buy expensive gear, if you don't want to buy rated gear, that's up to you. Once again, CE rating does not mean it's going to keep you safe. It means that it was built in a way that should be safe according to these regulations. Now, obviously, everything is flawed, just like helmet ratings. So the helmet ratings, if you're in America, first off, it has to have a DOT rating. The DOT is the Department of Transportation. They make rules for motorcycle helmets in terms of how much force they can handle, how many times can it bounce against the ground, things like that will determine if it's DOT approved or not. One flaw of DOT approval is that it's not tested by anyone other than the people who make the product. So Simpson, I'm not saying they're doing this. I like their product. Their product saved me in the crash. I didn't even get a headache afterwards. If there's an advertisement for you, I don't know which one it is, and this isn't an ad. So Simpson, Speed Bandit, they would go and test their helmet to the DOT standards to see if they pass or not. If they do, what they would do is they would put a nice sticker on there. It says DOT on it. Now the problem with that is anyone really at this point can just put a DOT sticker on anything. That's where you see those half helmets, those comedy/novelty helmets that aren't really helmets, even though they say DOT, they sell DOT stickers places. Don't just fake it. At that point, it's almost like you might as well not be wearing it. Not proven, but I survived a good crash with this helmet on. I suggest you wear it. In conjunction with CE, there's also something with helmets known as ECE. That's the European, once again, way of certifying helmets within the European Union. And once again, on the sticker on the back of the helmet is an ECE number and regulation. Once again, those regulations test to certain strengths, certain forces, certain impact ratings, so on and so forth. ECE has some downfalls in the fact that it might not be testing to a high enough speed rating for American highways. In America, our highways are typically much faster moving. There's a lot more wide open spaces where people tend to go at much higher speeds. So our helmets, or the DOT, tests it to different standards than the ECE. As you might have noticed, the Speed Bandit is both DOT and ECE rated. I highly suggest trying to get one that is both of them. There is also the new ECE 2206 regulation, even better if you can find a helmet that has that over the 2205. Another thing I want to talk about quick is gear that looks like motorcycle gear. It's not rated, or it might say it's rated, but the price and where you're getting it from doesn't really make sense. So like you go on Amazon, there's going to be all kinds of gear that looks pretty legit. It's got, what feels like a Cordura or a, slide resistant fabric. They got like a very similar mesh to what I'm going to say is real gear, like Climb gear up here above me. And the price is right when you're new. You're looking at all this gear. Climb gear is expensive. You don't have to buy that brand. Once again, I'm not recommending anything specific right now. But this stuff from Amazon looks okay. Mind you, I've worn these. These are from Amazon. I bought them when I was a new rider thinking, oh, there we go. Like, that shouldn't be as bad. And they're like 60, 70 bucks. Problem is, they're junk. Like, yeah, it might help. Like, you put this over a pair of jeans. These are like an overstyle pants, like the climb ones behind me, kind of a similar thing. And it will probably help, but there's no guarantee that this isn't just going to fall apart the first time. It just, I mean, just kisses the pavement, and then you're still having, you know, road rash. You're still injured to a level that you might not have been if you were wearing something that was actually CE rated. Once again, CE rating isn't a guarantee, but it's going to at least guarantee that the product was made to a certain standard. So be careful of Amazon gear. Yes, the price looks good. It looks like the same stuff, but you can't guarantee that the standard that this was manufactured to was the same as something that was manufactured and intended to be actually used on a motorcycle. I think another thing, quickly just to talk about pants wise specifically, these are an overstyle mesh pants. These climb ones are very similar, just to a higher standard. I trust those a lot more. I'm going to get rid of those Amazon ones. I do have a pair of Kevlar jeans. These are single layer Kevlar jeans made for motorcycling. I was wearing this pair when I went down at 60 miles an hour. You can barely tell that I hit the pavement. Highly recommended. These are Scorpion brand. So, buyer beware, Amazon stuff. I think another thing to talk about before we end this is leather. Now, this is not any specific brand. This is actually a leather jacket I've had since I was like, I don't know, 16, 17 or something like that. The tag says it's 100% leather. What kind of leather? Who knows? It could be a raccoon leather as far as we know. So I think just because something is leather, once again, the CE ratings, they were testing to see whether this seam right here was good. Like, you don't want the arm of the jacket coming off in the middle of the crash. That's where like a CE rating is going to be at least the peace of mind that you can be given, versus just going in and buying no-name generic stuff. Even though this is leather, who knows if it will do anything good for you though. Once again, is it better than wearing a t-shirt? I bet it is. Just like wearing jeans is probably better than wearing shorts. Mind you, most jeans today don't have 100% denim anymore. Look at your tags on your jeans. I bet you there's a lot of polyester in them. There's a lot of spandex even getting into that stuff these days. So it's not always even 100% denim. So you have to find where you're comfortable with your gear. Find gear that you're comfortable with. I would highly recommend CE rated gear, ECE, DOT, whatever the ratings are. I would recommend getting that gear. Once again, you're going to choose a level of safety that you're comfortable with. If you're just riding your Grom around your neighborhood at 35 miles an hour, you know, you probably don't need to necessarily invest in, you know, super high dollar gear. You know, something like an old leather jacket and a nice pair of denim pants may do for you if you're comfortable with that. If not, please wear full-on gear riding your Grom around your neighborhood. Same thing going down the highway. I'd highly recommend not being a squid, not being someone who's just wearing flip-flops and a t-shirt. You know, like, you go down and you're going to be down for a long time. I hit a deer at 60 miles an hour at the beginning of July. It's not even halfway through August yet, and I mean, I had a broken collarbone on the left side here. And I mean, I'm moving my arm pretty well. I'm not saying it's fully healed. It's still a little sore. But wearing your gear, wearing a good helmet is going to protect you to at least a much higher standard than just wearing regular clothes. I want you guys to be safe. I want to hear that if something happens to you, that you were wearing the stuff that maybe I recommended, maybe something similar to what I showed today, and that it saved your butt. Literally saves your butt. Like, you don't want, like, that's where they take skin to put it other places usually, and if your butt is gone, like, you don't have skin anymore. So thank you guys for being here. Hey, if you've been watching this long, maybe hit the subscribe button, leave me a comment, let me know how I'm doing. Let me know if I missed something. Maybe there's a type of gear you guys want to hear about, or another topic that we can touch on the channel. But anyway, thanks for being here. Thank you for your support lately. If you want to see any of my previous videos, click linkies down below, all that stuff. Ride safe, wear your gear, wrench hard. Out.